Hello. I am going to share something that I'm going to try to be concise with. I hope you will bear with me and listen because it really will be a blessing to you, I feel sure. While I was reading some C.S. Lewis today, I got so much wisdom from him and I was so excited and I thought, oh my goodness, how wonderful it would be to have such a great mind like C.S. Lewis. What a joy, you know. Much less worry, much less doubt, much less confusion because you understand things. And then I remember reading in other places from things that C.S. Lewis has shared that one of his struggles is that he tends to be very hard in his mind on people who don't understand things like he does. That he can get impatient, that he can be cruel in his attitude toward them, only to find out their value teaches him something, their worth teaches him something, their skill, their patience, their love. He has a great deal, C.S. Lewis has a great deal of remorse over how he was callous to his father. He mentions a fella that was so good to an elderly man, perhaps his own father in that case, I can't remember. But it was a person that when he was riding with him in the car would just chat on and on and on. And so he was kind of harsh in his labeling of the man. But after he got to the destination where the man was then so compassionate, so loving, and such a good listener to an almost incoherent elderly man, C.S. Lewis's heart was quickened with conviction. And I think this is what spoke to my heart as I realized if I was like C.S. Lewis, I would have the problems that C.S. Lewis has. And then I thought, don't we all still have that? I mean, you may not look down on everyone, but there's somebody that you think you're smarter than, somebody that you think is like believing crazy stuff that you think, my goodness, what an idiot. Somebody that in your arrogance you believe has actually reduced in worth. And maybe in terms of contribution to society, they have. But in terms of God, Jesus, who died, and it is historical fact, gave up his life on a crucifixion, on a cross in a crucifixion, did so according to the Bible, and those of us who follow him believe, because all of us mattered infinitely to him. Think about that person that you feel is just so frustrating to try to explain anything to, whether it's because of intellect, in a disability or a disabled or a competency issue, or whether it's because they believe philosophies that you think are at best insanity. Those people that you struggle with in their limits have a place in society. Now, some of them certainly do bring hardship on society because of their limited and harsh value systems, or because of their physical limits, that they may not be able to carry their weight in some settings. And so then those weaker people sometimes can cause us to get frustrated. And they're like, you drain society. But what if we treated them with their value in mind and helped them? Perhaps maybe they actually have a whole lot to contribute. Like with C.S. Lewis's situation, where once he was out with that man in a setting where that man was able to give instead of take, he was like, oh my goodness, he gives so much better than I do. What if we watched people for that? What if we watched people for their value that we don't value? My little Down syndrome Micah, when you go up to her and get a hug or give a hug, you can feel the presence of God that is in her, that is so powerful and transcends all the gobbledygook of life. And then you can say to yourself, but that's different. Not to God. Those people that repel you with their prickly personalities that aren't just pure Satanist, if you will, probably have soft spots that if you just took some time to get to know them and help them with the pain that's getting in their way, you might find that they have so much to give you that really they aren't takers at all, if you can find the way to help them. But whether or not you do, and whether or not they become active members of society that make society better, or they're the ones that stir it up so that the rest of us figure it out and make society better because we don't want to be like them, they all have their place. Pharaoh, in his hardness of heart, had the place that helped the people of God realize they could no longer stay comfortable in Egypt and therefore went, oh, we need to get out of here. Everyone can be used by God, whether they want to be or don't want to be, to have a part in what makes life better for those of us who are looking to find it. But we cannot do that well if we are forever devaluing and condescending on those that don't measure up to our grotesquely elevated egos of what we believe is good, right, and intelligent. So if we'll take a lesson to recognize that the highest brain that we can imagine is laden with stress and concerns. If we that were then like them, we would have so many more worries. But because we are where we are, we have a place that we can rest and say, hey, God did not give me that, so I don't have to carry that. I can leave it to Him. I can only carry what I can carry. And that person who has limited ability can only carry what they can carry. But their limited ability may make them able to love and to contribute in a peace that can change the world from the bottom up. We ought to be more grateful for those that have limited capacity in one area because they have a greater capacity in another. Be blessed and enjoy the people around you.